Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of the Beyond Access series. We're so excited to have you all here. And more than anything, I'm really excited to have back with us my friend, Anne Buckley-Reen. Anne is going to be talking to us about keeping calm and comfortable and talking about self-regulation techniques, which is a great follow-up to last week's session. Before we go into it, Ori will come in and give us some housekeeping announcements. But tonight, we're really excited that Anne's going to join us to talk about giving parents, caregivers, and students strategies for reducing stress and improving the ability to self-regulate. And for those of you who don't understand what self-regulation means, it's the ability to feel calm, safe, and comfortable across activities and environments. So we're really, really excited. If you haven't seen Anne's sessions that she did for us this year and last year, highly encourage you all to go back into the YouTube library and take a look at those sessions. But before we hand it over to Anne, I'm going to hand it over to Ori to give us some housekeeping announcements.
Thank you, Jose. Good evening, everyone. As you know by now, my name's Ori. Just obviously, again, with the housekeeping notes, as if you're aware, no chat function available, but we do have the Q&A function available throughout the entire webinar. So feel free to ask your questions right there on the Q&A. We'll try to answer as many as we can throughout the webinar, but don't worry, we do set a time allotted at the end of the webinar to make sure we can go through as many questions as we can. And so we ask that you ask them then as well. Just so you know as well, if you miss anything, don't worry. We do record these and we'll be posting it tomorrow on our YouTube channel. As always, you should really, if you're not following it, you really should be following it. We have a lot of great content on there, not just Beyond Access, but some other great videos as well. So please give us a follow and as well. And also want to make sure that everyone knows that next week, for the next 3 weeks of Beyond Access, will be our IEP Beyond Access series. So Anne is going to start us off today with the calm and comfortable, and then going to end the month with us as well. So we're excited to have her in the beginning and the end, but just so everyone knows, in the middle of all the month of May, we have 3 special webinars on the IEP, the process, understanding it, and the meeting. So look out for email announcements on that as well. But as Jose mentioned, tonight it's calm and comfortable, how to self-regulate with Anne Buckley-Reen. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to her. Anne?
Thank you so much. And before I start, Ori, I just want to ask you if you could switch your hosting to Jose so that there won't be any loss of connection. Okay. All right. So I'm going to begin by, first of all, let me introduce myself. Anne Buckley-Reen. I'm an occupational therapist, a yoga instructor, a therapeutic yoga instructor, and also a mom. And I am delighted to be with you all this evening. So let me get my PowerPoint up. And we will begin. Okay. So the first thing that we want to talk about is our mission statement. Why are we here? And the whole idea behind this program and this presentation is to prepare all students and families to be in optimal physical, behavioral, and emotional states. And we want to support the physical and mental health and well-being of everyone. So in a previous presentation, I talked a lot about sleep and self-regulation, and that is one of the foundations for being able to self-regulate, being able to stay calm across demands, across environments. But let's look at this little visual, and this kind of explains how 3 different people can be coping very differently with the demands of the day. So I use this to explain to teachers different behaviors that they may see in the classroom. So if we look, we have 3 cups. And the cup all the way on the right is all the way full. And I use this analogy to describe a child who has had a good night's sleep, a good breakfast, got a little exercise, they were able to walk to school, and they came in and their cup is full. Okay, now every demand, every challenge, every transition that happens during the day, we make a withdrawal from our coping chemical cup. And so our ability to be able to handle the stressors of life and the distresses of life really depends on how full our coping chemical cup is. So now we look at the child in the middle, and this child has a half full cup. This is a child who didn't get to bed on time, was up late on technology, got up and missed breakfast, but got to school on the bus and was fine for the beginning of the day. By 11 o'clock, he's had his first meltdown, and he is getting overwhelmed by transitions and getting very agitated. It's very hard for him to pay attention and to engage. And now we go to the third child. And this is the child who arrives at school on empty. This is a child who has not slept, has not had any kind of organizing kind of movement, started the day very stressful, overslept, arrived at school already in great distress and having a meltdown. This is a child who I describe as being on empty. Okay, this child doesn't have the coping chemicals to be able to handle the demands of the day. And so, keeping this visual in mind, let's move forward and talk about some strategies and some foundations for self-regulation. First things first, the big four. On a daily basis, our bodies and brains need these four basics to be able to nurture the brain and body, and also to have the ability to cope with stress. Sleep is absolutely essential because sleep is when we produce a lot of our coping chemicals. If we are sleep deprived, our ability to handle stress will be much less. And did you know that students in 9th grade require 9.5 hours of sleep a night? Our younger students, our elementary school students, need at least 10 hours of sleep a night. And students with special needs have even higher sleep requirements. The next part is movement. And movement is really key for our brain function. Later on in our talk today, I'm going to give a couple of simple examples of movement and how this movement affects our brain chemicals. Next is nutrition. You know, there are good nutrients and there are not so good nutrients, or as I say, there is school food and party food. And we need certain nutrients in order to make the fuel for our brains and our bodies. Without those essential nutrients, it's very hard for our body to be able to perform optimally. And then the last thing is the environments that we're in. Is our classroom environment or our home environment very stressful, very noisy, very disorganized? Or is it a place where there is peacefulness, where there's nurturing, where there is our calming routines? So environments can very much impact how we're able to handle stress, because some environments themselves are just more stressful. But here's the thing, if we're in a good place, our ability to handle stressful environments increases dramatically. So tonight, we're going to talk about how we can get ourselves to be strong and resilient and fill our coping chemical cups. Okay? Now, every day we have routines, and we pretty much have the same routine every day. Routines are the grounding part of our day, and these routines are essential. First things first, we wake up in the morning, and when we wake up, we have to do our self-care routine, get washed and brush our teeth, get dressed, okay? We eat our breakfast first thing in the morning. And this is the first time of day, the first routine that we can add a little activity to. So when we go through our activities tonight, our breathing exercises and our self-care routines, you can plug one in first thing in the morning. We eat 3 meals a day, and sometimes a snack when we get home from school. These are also great times for 5 to 10 minutes of any of the routines that we discussed tonight. Okay? And then there's homework time. Before homework is an excellent time to practice a de-stressing routine. And finally, many of us, our kids and our other family members may have difficulty falling asleep. So getting ready for sleep is a great time to practice some of our calming exercises. Okay? So let's move forward and see what those exercises look like. First things first, we want to develop awareness and help our children to develop awareness. And that awareness means that I can sense how I'm feeling. Okay? When we're feeling happy, that's pretty easy. And I'm feeling calm. I ask students, how are you feeling? And they say, I feel calm, I feel good. But then as we're getting more distressed, we move into feelings like sadness and feeling worried. And with those two feelings, it's really helpful to be able to talk to a grown-up, talk to somebody that you can express your feelings to. Sometimes our feelings are even more intense, and those can be feelings of being frustrated or feeling angry. And when we have those feelings, these happen most often when our coping chemical cup is empty or it's half full and we've used up everything we have. So understanding and recognizing those feelings and saying, I feel angry a lot of the time, or my child feels angry a lot of the time, these are clues that we need to use some of the tools. These are some suggestions tonight. Some of these tools could be very, very helpful in helping our kids to be able to achieve and maintain a calm, happy state, a calm, comfortable state. So let's begin. The fastest way to change our state, to go from upset to calm, is to change our breathing. It is impossible to be in a fight, fright, or flight state and be deep breathing at the same time. So let's start with some breathing, some small breathing exercises. The first one, we call this smelling the flower and blowing out the candle. I do this with even my youngest clients. So what we do is we pretend that we're smelling a flower and we breathe in through our nose. And then we want to blow out the birthday candles. So we're going to blow a nice, long, slow, deep breath. So join me. Let's do this together. Let's smell the flower and then blow out the candle. Let's do that 2 more times. And you always want the out breath to be longer than the in breath. So smell the flower and blow out the candle. And one more time. Smell the flower and blow out the candle. Very good. Notice if there's been any change in how you feel. Now, our next exercise is what we call posture supported breathing. And if you'd like, you can stand up for this one. What we're going to do is, this is called sunrise and sunset. When we reach our arms up over our head, we automatically breathe in. And when we fold forward like the girl in the picture and bring our hands towards our feet, this helps us to breathe out. So I'm going to say arms up, sunrise, as we take a nice, long, slow breath in, and then fold forward for sunset and touch your toes. Breathing out nice and slow and deep. Let's do that 2 more times. So arms up as we breathe in. And then as we breathe out, let's fold forward and touch our toes. One more time. Breathe in, arms up, and then breathe out as we fold forward and touch our toes. And come on back up to center. Now check your body, check your brain, notice how you're feeling, and resume your normal breathing. Let's move on now to feeling our breath. So this is called balloon breath. And if you look at the picture on the left, we're going to place our hands on our belly. And as we breathe in, we're going to feel our belly expand and get bigger. And then as we breathe out, our belly contracts and gets smaller. So with your hands on your belly, let's take a deep breath in and fill up. And then now we can breathe out through your mouth or your nose, a nice long slow breath out and empty. Breathe in and fill. And breathe out and empty. Again, breathe in and fill. And then breathe out and empty. One more time. Breathe in, fill up, feel your belly expand, and now breathe out long and slow and deep until your belly is all the way empty. Very good. Resume your normal breathing. And now let's look at our triangle breathing. So this is a fun breathing exercise. I'll show you how we'll do it first, and then we'll practice together. So we're going to start here. And by the way, you will be getting a toolbox with these visuals so that you can practice these breathing exercises at home. Okay? And some of the other exercises that we're going to share tonight. So we start here, and we're going to breathe in for a count of 3. Now we're going to hold 2, 3, and then breathe out for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So breathe in, 2, 3, and hold 2, 3. Breathe out 2, 3, and hold 2, 3. Let's do it again. Breathe in, 2, 3, and hold your breath. 2, 3. Breathe out. 2, 3, and hold. 2, 3. Breathe in. 2, 3, and hold. 2, 3. Breathe out. 2, 3, and hold. 2, 3. And now resume your normal breathing. Again, close your eyes for a moment. Just notice how you feel. Notice if your mind is getting more quiet. And notice how these breathing exercises feel. There may be 1 or 2 that you prefer more than others, and that's great. So you can pick and choose. Our next breathing exercise is called square breathing. And I practiced this today. A client of mine who's a 5th grade boy, and he has a lot of anxiety. And we practiced this one and the next one. And he chose this one as the one he favored. He liked the numbers. So for square breathing, we do the same thing we did in triangle, but we're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and resume your normal breathing. Now, the reason we're doing all of these breathing exercises is because when we're under stress, our breathing tends to get short and shallow and fast, or we hold our breath. So, either one of those situations is not helpful because it's creating more stress in our body. So learning how to breathe is really a wonderful tool for being able to wipe some of that stress away. Okay. Let's now go to one more square breathing. And this square breathing number 2 doesn't have numbers, but we basically follow the same routine that we did in the previous one. So we're going to start up here and we're going to breathe in nice and slow and deep. Let's hold it. And now breathe out nice and slow and deep. Hold, breathe in and hold, and breathe out nice and slow and deep, and hold. So let's do this for a count of 3. Breathe in, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3. Breathe in, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3, and breathe out, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3. If you're working with older kids or with adults, you can increase the length of the breathing in and breathing out to a count of 4 or even a count of 5. But having the same amount of time for your breath in and out helps to regulate your breathing. So let's move on now. And let's just check in with ourselves for a minute. And let's see, how do we feel? What's different? Do you notice anything? Just reflect on your own brain and body, and perhaps some of the stressors that you brought home with you today, and notice what's changed. Now, I am going to stop the video for a minute, and well, actually, I'm going to go to the next slide, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. There are other ways that we can calm, and one way is to listen to calming music. Now, music is energy. There's a vibration to music and there's a rhythm. And when we have a background rhythm, it helps the rhythms of our body to regulate. So when we listen to soothing music, something called entrainment happens, and our heart rate and our breathing rate, they slow down and they regulate to this music. So there are 2 songs that I like that I've used with students for many years, and they are here on the PowerPoint. And also what I'm going to play for you now is a YouTube video of music. It's called 12 Hours of Relaxing Music, Piano Music for Stress Relief. Okay, so this is really lovely music. Let me stop the share for a second, stop the PowerPoint, and let me just put that up on our screen, okay? And I want you to sit back. I want you to close your eyes, and I'll watch the clock for the next 2 minutes, okay? And hold on one second. Here we go. And let me go back a second. and find it's here. Hold on 1 minute. I apologize. Keep your eyes closed and stay nice and calm. And here we go. Okay. Okay, so let me come back to you. And let me just share with you that when I was working with children, and I've worked with children with a lot of different students with self-regulatory issues, I would play soothing music like this low in the background in my office. And I would ask the students after a couple of sessions if they wanted the music on or off. And all of the students said on. I play it very low in the background. And again, what it is it just has a very soothing energy. And it also reminds us to be quiet and calm when it's playing. So it can be very, very helpful to play this kind of music low in the background at home. Okay. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. And excuse me for 1 second, because I have to look at this a certain way. And we want to, that's what we want. Okay. And we want to play our presenter view. Okay. So now we've talked about breath and we've talked about sound. Let's talk a little bit about the power of movement for stress and self-regulation. One of the most simple activities for so many of us is just plain old walking. Walking, research has shown that walking promotes the release of brain chemicals called endorphins, and these stimulate relaxation and improve our mood. Many people who have difficulty sleeping at night or difficulty calming down have found that walking during the day or late in the afternoon or in the morning has an impact on their sleep at night. Walking doesn't have to be done at a fast pace to have stress-reducing benefits. Even a stroll at a comfortable pace promotes these endorphins, as many studies indicate. So the first thing that you want to do is include walking. And one of the things that I encourage parents to do is if your child takes a bus to school, and you are home with them in the morning, when you go out to meet the bus, take a walk around the block first. So go out 10 minutes early and do a nice quick walk around the block. You can build that up over time, or you can walk around the block when you get off the bus after school. Okay. When you have opportunities, you can increase 1 block to 2 blocks. For parents who drive their children to school, I suggest that they park a few blocks from school and walk the rest of the way. And if it's at all possible to walk to school, it's a great way to start the day. Okay. All right. So take some time to walk and keep track of your walking. You'll notice that you build up your endurance for walking pretty quickly. And you'll also know that it has a lot of positive effects on everything that happens all day long. All right. So the next thing that we want to talk about, there's 3 activities that I really wanted to share with you. The second is bicycle riding. And bicycle riding is great in that it also decreases our levels of stress. It's a rhythmic movement activity, and it helps us to be able to kind of get into a flow. Cycling decreases our levels of stress. It also decreases our chances of suffering from symptoms linked to anxiety. Better still, believe it or not, cycling has some of the same effects as some anti-anxiety medications. As soon as you get on the saddle and start your ride, endorphins are released in your brain. And these endorphins, which are also a body's natural painkiller, help us to feel calm and comfortable and reduce and release our anxiety. So think about bike riding. If you have a bike that's available, this could be something that you want to put on your movement schedule. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is yoga practice. And I am a yoga practitioner, and I developed a program for schools called Get Ready to Learn. Now, on YouTube, you can access the seated one practice, which is it's an older version of what we're going to do right now. Also on YouTube, you'll find in your resource section a 20-minute morning yoga practice that I lead. And that is a recorded practice that was paid for by the folks at the New York City Department of Education last year. And it was so popular, we've left it up. So you can find that Get Ready at Home on YouTube. So let me now come out of our slideshow here, and I'm going to bring you to, okay, let me share the screen, and we're going to go into basics, and here we go. Okay, let me know if you are able to see. Okay, I'm trying to get this up, and it's not showing up on my screen. For some reason, Jose, the circle seems to be around you, the green circle that's showing what's showing up on the screen. Is that what you're getting? Okay, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to stop. It says the screen sharing is paused, so I'm going to stop the screen share. And what I'm going to do is try that one more time. And if this doesn't work, let's see if this works. Okay, I am now screen sharing. And we're going to move this out of the way. And hopefully, let's see if we
it doesn't look like it's working on our end. It doesn't look like it's working on our end. Okay, there we go. I see a white screen now.
Okay, so you're seeing a white screen? Jose, for some reason, it's this circle that's showing the screen sharing is around your name on my desktop. And it's saying screen sharing is paused. So I'm going to stop the share. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lead a simple little yoga seated practice with us right here live. Okay, so everyone, if you wouldn't mind, close your eyes for a moment. Place your hands in your lap and just focus inward. Now let's open our eyes, and we're going to begin by gently turning our head from side to side. So let's turn from one side to the other and then repeat that. So turn your head from side to side and then back to center. Let's bring our shoulders up to our ears. Roll them back and bring them down. Again, shoulders up to your ears. Roll them back and bring them down. Now hold on to your elbows and take a deep breath in, reaching your arms up over your head, stretching up and breathing. Slowly bring your arms back down, and we'll do that one more time. So inhale, bring your arms up, keep breathing, and on your next breath out, bring your arms back down into your lap. Turn one palm up and let's scoop the air with that arm. Scoop it up, reach up over your head, and then turn and push the air away. Again, palm up, scoop up, lean over, stretching the whole side of your body, and then push the air away. Let's do that to the other side. Turn your palm up, scoop the air up and over your head, bringing that arm up and over, and then turn your hand and push the air away. One more time, palm up, scoop up and over, and then push the air away. Now take your right hand and bring it across to your left knee. We're going to twist and look over our left shoulder. As we breathe out, we come back to center. Let's do that to the other side. Our left hand goes on the outside of our right knee. We take a breath in and we twist and we look over our right shoulder. Exhale, back to center. And now we're going to take another deep breath in. And as we breathe out, let's fold forward and bring our hands down to our feet. Inhale, come on back up. And one more time, deep breath in. As we breathe out, let's fold forward. Let's bring our hands down to our feet. Inhale, and come on back up. Okay, so that was a little sample of a few simple yoga poses. A little bit of yoga can go a long way in helping you to feel peaceful and really grounded throughout the day. I do a lot of work in classrooms with students with a yoga program that helps to prepare the brain and body. And we have strategies that we use for parents at home as well. So the videos that I'm sharing with you online is one that this program produced for the New York City Department of Education, and it is on YouTube, and the resources will be in your handout. Okay, so I hope you'll be able to join us for that. Let me go back to sharing my screen. And of course, now it shows up. We're going to take care of this, move this over, and go back to our presenter view. Okay, so, doing these activities that we talked about, our breathing exercises, doing our quiet music, doing our movement, all of these things are really wonderful. And it's really great for you to keep track of what you're doing. Keeping track of your activity by using a habit tracker. And a habit tracker is one of the things that we put in your handout. So you have this to be able to write down, did I do my breathing exercise? You can give yourself a check or a star each day. Did I do some movement? And if so, you can write down how long you did your movement or how far you walked. The good thing about this is it gives you a visual clue. And that visual clue is very motivating. Okay, it's motivating to see the work that you've done and where you're going. And it helps you to kind of motivate you to do some more each day. So try to use your habit tracker. It's great to hang it somewhere like on the refrigerator. And just know that you are gaining skills and strength every single day. Okay, if you have trouble getting started, make and use a daily schedule. Figure out when will I do my breathing and put a schedule, make a written schedule and hang it up someplace where you can see it. Okay, the refrigerator and the bathroom door are two really good places to hang your schedule because those are two places that we tend to go to every day. All right. Use your habit tracker and make sure that you rely on your habit tracker to keep track of what you're doing so that you can stay motivated. All right, now a few other activities before we wrap it up tonight, just to kind of keep you grounded and help to redirect your mind if you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, or irritable. One of these things is to take a grounding break. And this is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. What you want to do is sit with this list and you want to think about 5 things you can see. So I am sitting here now and I can look around and I can pick 5 things. So let's do this together. Okay. I am looking at 5 things, and as I see 5 things, I'm listing them in my head. I'm going to keep track on my fingers. Okay. All right. Now, let's come up with a list of 4 things that you can feel. All right. And these can be things that you can feel right now. They can be accessible to you, or 4 things that you felt today. And these can be things like soft material on your skin, body lotion, okay, bumping into a wall, things like that, okay? So think about 4 things that you can feel. The first thing I thought about was a hug, okay? All right, now let's think about 3 things we can hear. Very good. What about 2 things you can smell? And even though you might not be smelling them now, these are 2 smells that you particularly like. For me, one is the smell of good red sauce, pasta sauce. And then let's finish this up with 1 thing you can taste. So this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding break is a great resource. I'm giving you this handout. You can keep this, and if you need to redirect your thoughts or calm yourself down, use this little grounding break. This is a wonderful technique that can be really helpful. And you'd be amazed at some of the things that you come up with in making your lists. So other stress busters, ways to stay calm. This is another list in your toolbox. Okay, so take long, slow, deep breaths. We practiced that. We practiced a number of ways to do that. Okay. Loosen up parts of your body that are tense. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Close your eyes and imagine yourself being calm. As I'm saying these, I'd like you to practice. I'd like you to do each one. Okay. The next one is count back from 10 to 1. Okay. Challenge your thoughts. Ask yourself questions. Okay, and these can be questions that pop into your head, and some interesting questions may pop in there. So challenge yourself and ask yourself some questions. All right. Another really great thing to do if you're stressed or distressed is to get some fresh air. Going outside, being outside, and breathing fresh air, even for a short period of time, can be really helpful. So that might mean not even walking around the block, but going outside and sitting on the stoop. Okay. Just going and taking a short walk, getting fresh air is very, very restorative. Many people find that writing down their thoughts or journaling can be a really helpful stress buster. So get a little notepad and write down your thoughts or your feelings. And many people and many researchers have found that doing this, doing journaling, is a way of taking the stress out of you and just putting it somewhere so that you've acknowledged it on paper, but it kind of takes the weight off of you. Okay. And then another really great thing for a stress buster is to just stop, take a big drink of water, and have a snack. Okay. Now, the last activity that I'm going to do tonight is a progressive relaxation. And this is another great stress buster, and you will have this handout in your toolbox. I'd like you to sit back and close your eyes. I'd like you to take 3 nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, take a breath in and point your toes up towards your nose, and then down towards the floor. Tense all the muscles in your legs. Squeeze your legs together. Tense your legs and your feet. And on your next breath out, relax your legs, relax your feet. Let all your muscles feel calm and warm. Your legs and your toes are getting more relaxed by the moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to relax the muscles in your tummy and in your back. So breathing in nice and slow and deep, and as you breathe out, feel your back relaxing, feel your stomach softening, feel the tension floating out of your body. Now, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And as you breathe out, bring your shoulders down and release any stress that you're feeling. Bring your arms out in front and squeeze your hands. Tense your arm and hand muscles. Squeeze and tense. And then as you breathe out, relax and release. Swallow any excess saliva that's in your mouth and let your mouth open slightly. Relax your cheeks. Relax your eyes and your eyebrows. Relax the top of your head, the sides of your head, and the back of your head. Relax each and every part of you. Scan your body now from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and notice if there's any part that's still feeling stress. As you take a nice, long, slow breath in and a nice, long, slow breath out, release that stress. Continue to breathe and focus on just letting go. Enjoy this progressive relaxation. And when you do this on your own, you can play that soothing music in the background to help you relax even more. So let's open our eyes and let's finish up our session tonight by always remembering to care for the caregiver. So you caregivers, model the way for our kids and make sure that you follow these strategies for stress reduction. Take 5 minutes here and there throughout the day to practice one of these stress busting activities. Use your breathing exercises, your progressive relaxation, soothing music, a walk in nature, and a good night's sleep. And don't forget to move. Okay? Our last slide has resources for you. And on YouTube, there is soothing relaxation music by Peter Holland that is music for sleep. The other resources will be in your parent handbook as well, so you'll be able to access these online. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation tonight, and I will be here to take questions. Let me look right now and see what kinds of questions. Okay, so Sherry asked, how do we gain access to these handouts? And these handouts will be sent out to you by the team at Beyond Access. They will probably go out within the next day or so. Alice asked, why do children with special needs need more sleep than their peers? And the answer to this is that kids with special needs are working harder than their typically developing peers. Whether they have motor issues, whether they have cognitive issues, they have to think harder and work harder to achieve the same goals. And so it's really, really, really important that we understand and support our kids to get the rest that they need. And Gloria also asked, where can I find the toolbox for these strategies? And these strategies will be shared with you on your email. You will receive them within the next couple of days. Okay, Andrea, thank you for this session. I'm glad it was very, very helpful. Okay, good.
I have a question for you, Anne.
Yes.
So the tools that you shared are great for having stuff at home, but out of all the tools that you shared today, or maybe they weren't part of it, what do you recommend for on the go? Like, we have those moments where, we might have set up the day great, and then we're outside, we're maybe at the grocery store or something, and we have a moment, right, where we might need to recenter ourselves.
Okay.
How do you approach that?
So, as a parent, I would, before I went into the grocery store, I would probably count to 10 slowly with my child. And I would say, it might be loud and noisy in here. We're going to do this. And if we need to, you squeeze my hand and we'll just count again. Counting is something that is very regulating. Okay. I know parents who, when they're going out to an environment that may be overwhelming, they have headphones that their kids can wear. And that kind of blocks out some of the overstimulation. So those are two things, wearing headphones and having the child be listening to calming music while you're in one of those environments can also be a good tool. Okay. Making sure that if you're going to the grocery store, that your child has had something to eat before you go there. Otherwise, they are going to be wanting everything they see on the shelves. So this goes for grown-ups as well as kids. Never go to a grocery store if you're hungry. And kids, when they're hungry and their blood sugar is dropping, they tend to be more irritable, as do many adults. So I think on the go, Jose, we always have our breath. What's really important is that we are the child's environment. And if they are next to a calm, very calm and nurturing, calm, cool, collected grown-up, then it is easier for them to be able to regain their balance. If we get agitated when the child is getting agitated, and that's very common because we're stressed, we have to remember our breath, okay? And just stay grounded and say, if we need to, we'll go outside, okay? And we'll calm down. That's it. It looks like you need to calm. All right. Those are just some on the go suggestions. But what I found and what we found from the program that we've done is our daily movement and breathing activities have many parents have shared that they have been able to take their child to places that they could never go before because their child is now able to maintain that calm, cool, collected state. So movement in the morning, either walk, get on a bike, or get on a yoga mat, do your breathing exercises, and make sure you spend at least 15 to 20 minutes a day moving. Okay? Regulated, organized movement. All right.
It's so important to plan those out, right?
Yes.
And thanks again for joining us. I'm really excited that you're going to join us again in a couple of weeks to talk about planning some of those types of outings, right? And some of the types of places to
Absolutely.
take kids. Summer's coming, right? We have time.
Yes. So we're going to have some really great suggestions for things to do over the summer months and resources that are available. So I think that you would, I think that you will really enjoy this. Okay, Alice just asked one more question, and that was, how do you calm a 5-year-old when they always get in trouble during gym or free art for not following directions? And when a child consistently doesn't follow directions, that can be a clue that they're not really understanding what the demands are, what the expectations are. And so they're getting in trouble. I'm not sure for what, but they're not following the directions. And sometimes that can mean a lot of things. In a noisy environment, a child might not be hearing what the directions are. I, as a mother, discovered when a teacher told me that my son wasn't paying attention when he was in 3rd grade, that he had a ruptured eardrum and he wasn't hearing out of one ear. So sometimes something similar happened to a niece of mine. So whenever there's issues with paying attention or not following directions, always have the pediatrician check the child's ears. Sometimes the child is overwhelmed and stressed, and it's hard for them to follow directions. Okay, so doing some of these calming strategies, you'll find will be helpful, but you also want to speak to the teacher about what kind of specifics you can use. Sometimes having a buddy for a child that has difficulty being independent, pairing them with another child is something that a teacher may do so that they are able to move in sync with that child. Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you again for spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing all of you again at the end of the month. Okay.
Thanks so much, Anne, and thanks everyone. As Ori was saying earlier, next week we're back with Include NYC, and we're doing our 3-week series on IEPs. It's going to be a deep dive, so join us for that. And until then, stay safe, everyone. Talk to you all soon.
Okay. Thank you all. Great to see you. Take care.